when we come back to the vote on the 8th of March, when the Irish people put the run on the government on the two constitutions, they didn't pick that up from mainstream media. I mean, they picked that up, the analysis from Michael McDowell and Una McGurk and people like yourself.
3 or 4 people. They picked it up from Suffrage and the Seas, where they wouldn't publish the Attorney General's advice. They wouldn't publish copies of the right, which the public are entitled to, advice, critical advice from a plethora of interdepartmental meetings about the implications of these 2 votes. And I say one thing about it, another. So I was quite shocked then when we fast forwarded, when they did the exact same thing with the migration debate, buried it. They wouldn't publish the AG's report. They wouldn't publish interdepartmental. But I was pleasantly surprised strangely surprised that the vote wasn't more strong against the government parties. But I've come to the analysis, I made the analysis for a long time, the whole public service is so massive, the NGO industry, all those hangers-on, I call them as well, they're all voting for the government, because the government is putting money in their pockets and put food in. And the person said it to me a long time around. Look, he said, Mattie, you must remember, all these people have money in their pockets, albeit the cost of living is high. They gamble that it's better to stay with this crowd than to change. So, on mature reflection, then when they had absolutely no opposition in Sinn Féin, they had flip-flops so many times. They had more flip-flops than the TV show. So I'm making the point that people a lot of people should have went out to vote. Can't say they should, but that I thought would go to vote, didn't go to vote. And then, as I said, the government know themselves. All these people have the hands around the handlebars of power. I mean, the top civil servants, the whole public sector system. They all voted for the status quo because that is protecting them. They're under the big tree. And if that tree was shaken a second time, they might be worried.
So that's effectively the equivalent of the Irish deep state, isn't it? I mean, you have the government in the middle, and then you have the media captivity, and you have the senior civil servants that are clearly very pro the globalist agenda with our engagement with the UN and all of that. And I mean, the people's voices then. Well, what's interesting, Mattie, sorry, about the vote of the 8th of March is that the Irish people talk to one another again. I mean, that's how they learn. Yes. Wasn't that interesting?
They put us all into silos, locked us away from each other, frightened the life out of them with COVID, and no inquiry into COVID, mind you. That's gone off the table completely. I'd like to tell you about the first meeting we had about that, but some other time maybe. But then to cap it all, then the likes of Una McGurk and many other eminent lawyers and anybody else that goes across the river to challenge anything. You're dealing with all government-appointed justices of the state. So, you mean, they're all depending on promotions, pensions, and none of them are going to rock the boat. Because, I mean, the government couldn't be wrong. I mean, they appointed me. How could they be wrong? And that's the mentality. It's a very serious situation.